one. Greetings. I'm Susan Tomlinson, Chair of the Indianapolis Sister Cities Teacher and Student Outreach Committee. I'd like to welcome you to our Global Leader interview, which will be conducted by students Madeline Burton and Samantha Allen, both highly accomplished and globally minded seniors at Franklin Central High School. This interview is supported by the Indiana Language Roadmap Project as a way to connect students with Indiana's global leaders through interviews, which could then be widely shared with others. With that, I will turn the program over to Maddie and Sam.
Mr. Raju Chinthala is a two-time recipient of the Sagamore of the Wabash Award presented by Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb in 2017 and Governor Mike Pence in 2015. This award is presented to distinguished Hoosiers who have made significant contributions to the state. This certainly describes Mr. Chinthala. He is the founder and CEO of the Indiana India Business Council, president of the Indianapolis Hyderabad Sister City Committee, and a member of the Mayor's Advisory Commission on Human Relations. Mr. Chinthala earned a master's degree in business administration from Indiana Wesleyan University, a master's in speech and hearing from All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, and a bachelor's degree in audiology and speech therapy from Aliyavar Jung National Institute for the Hearing Handicapped. As a native from India and a citizen of the United States, Mr. Chinthala is a true community leader for both countries. He has worked to promote effective trade and investment between Indiana and India. He is a main player in state negotiations that have allowed for new international interests in investments and job growth in Indiana. Through a 2017 investment by the India multinational IT corporation Infosys, it is projected in 2023 that more than 3,000 jobs will be created in Indianapolis alone. He has also set out to create a U.S. education center near the Indianapolis International Airport. Additionally, Mr. Chinthala helped forge a partnership between Indiana and Karnataka and also helped establish a sister city between Hyderabad and Indianapolis, as well as one between Columbus and Pune. Mr. Raju Chinthala is a man of action, a community and civic leader, and a foreign relations advocate who promotes change and prosperity and fosters global connections. We are here today to learn from Mr. Chinthala's experience as a bridge between cultures and an international business leader and a global thinker and facilitator. This interview is supported in part by the Indiana Language Roadmap Project and the Indianapolis Sister Cities Teacher and Student Outreach Committee. We welcome Mr. Raju Chinthala and thank him for all that he has done to promote international connections in Indiana.
All right, so let's get started. So as a two-time recipient of the Sagamore of the Wabash Award, can you explain why it's important for Hoosiers to have a global outlook?
First of all, thank you, Susan, for organizing this, and wonderful to meet these brilliant, smart students. I am honored to be with you. And so regarding the global outlook or global connections, it's very important. As I tell everybody, it's a globe is shrinking with the new technologies, travel, and as the globe is shrinking, it is very important for each state to make global connections around the world and build those relationships. That's where we started building those sister city relationships. And when Mayor Ballard was City of Indianapolis mayor, he visioned to build sister cities around the world to connect and bring economic, social, and a cultural understanding between Indianapolis as well as Indiana and other countries around the world. Why are they so important? Because as we learn, as we have more people coming into our state and working here and creating the jobs, companies are coming, students are coming here. We are all going outside of, like myself, I came from India to Indiana. I never thought I would, as a young kid, I never thought I would be traveling to America or another country, but it happened. So it's very important we take our relationship further, build stronger relationships, and build bridges among city to cities in other countries, as well as bring other relationships from other countries to Indiana that will help to prosper and grow and make much more stronger community. And also it will help us to grow economically, creating more jobs here, and also building stronger communities and providing stronger, better education in our state, bringing all those relationships.
Thank you. What experiences have you had in your life that inspired your interest in other people, cultures, and countries?
As I just mentioned, I came from India. And in India, I was born and raised in a very small middle class family. As I said, like I never thought I would travel to another country from India when I was a kid. I grown into in a family that taught us. My father was school teacher, my school teacher too. He taught me math, science, and English at school up to middle school. So when he was teaching, all this emphasis was on education, education, education. He used to tell me, education. No one can steal education from you. If you have education, you can survive anywhere in the world. That was the main motivation. And it was not easy. It's education, getting a good education at our level, because my dad was the first one to graduate in our family, have a degree in a family and he make sure that we as his kids get good education. And that education provided me to travel abroad for job opportunities. That's where I came to work as a speech pathologist and audiologist when I came here. And that is where I emphasize education, education, education. As I see both of you, you read books, and that's a knowledge. That's a knowledge. No one can take it from you. And that made me to look at different prospects, perspectives, and how do I share my knowledge? How do I build these relationships between? Because I came from India, now I call Indiana as a home. So how do I build those relationships when I know people here, when I know people in India? How do I bring them to at the same table? And those all are the things that made me to do the work which I've been doing for past 16 years or 17 years.
All right. So, what is the excitement around Infosys, and how has this fostered a connection between two worlds?
It's as you said, it's a company. It's a multinational IT company. As I said, Mayor Ballard, when he was building these relationships, he was the first mayor to go to India in 2010. He met the mayor of Hyderabad in 2010, and we created this Indianapolis Hyderabad sister city relationship. After the relationship was signed, then the mayor of Hyderabad visited Indianapolis, first mayor of Hyderabad to visit Indiana, or maybe even a first mayor of any city of India to visit Indiana. Those relationships matter. During these relationships, whenever we go, we take the trade missions to other country, or India especially, we meet other business leaders. When we meet these business leaders, in the last 14 years, I've collected more than 10 to 12,000 business cards. And those connections helps us to build those relationships with the government leaders, business leaders, community leaders, including sports and other music, other cultural community leaders, and those all. So the company whom we met in 2013, again, when Mayor Ballard visited Hyderabad, we visited their campus, we made that introduction, and we asked them to come and visit us. And it took almost 3 to 4 years for them to visit Indiana. And that I had opportunity to introduce those companies executive to our Secretary of Commerce, Jim Schellinger, and also the Governor, Eric Holcomb. That introduction made more possible, and both the leaders, Secretary of Commerce and Governor, were very proactive building those continue to strengthen those relationships. And the first governor to visit India in 2017. So with these relationships, they felt this is their home for a headquarters. And that's what they're building US Educational Center at the old airport. That feels sense of belonging to the, as we all government leaders, community leaders, everybody pitched into these relationships and bring them to table and negotiations. And they were able to come to Indiana, even though they could have gone to any other state out of 50 states. But this, we unique relationships, what we have created in the state of Indiana, unique opportunities, what we have created for companies to come and invest. As governor says, you cannot even spell Indiana without starting with India. So it's a that's what the strong leaders and the more proactive leaders, they do those things, and that helped us to bring the largest investment, a foreign trade investment into Indiana.
You have the role as the bridge between two countries and their business interests. What are some of the obstacles that you have faced trying to balance these two different countries' interests?
Always there are obstacles, especially bringing people together is always challenging. As I said, it's a people, it's all humans. We have different cultures. When I came here, I had to learn a lot of things, including English, including eating, food, different things that teach us different culture. When I go back, it's a different culture. It makes me look different there because the government rule differently. The people priorities are different. India is much more diversified. It's 29 states. It's like 29 countries in one country. So it's like, even though 29 states are different, even though America, we have different regions, different culture, different food, different, I mean, not language, because even the English, but still there is a different accent, Southern accent, Appalachian accent, and different things. Similarly, India also 1.4 billion people. The government elected officials' priorities are different. The priorities in Indiana are different than what India is. They have to worry about every day about the different things like trash and water and electricity, and those are for us. Here we don't have to worry. We get 24-hour electricity 365 days. But in India, they have to make sure that is able to at least deliver that. So bringing these leaders together, sometimes challenging. Of course, budget. Governments always watch what to spend, how much they can travel. But Mayor Ballard had this vision of building this relationship. So when he has this relationship, strong vision to build this relationship, it makes my job easy. When he is coming forward to travel to India and build these relationships, that makes much more easier. And convincing other side to sign MOU was much easier because we were there already talking to them and negotiating, and what kind of strengthening relationship we could produce in the future, how this sister city partnership helps both cities, and that's when they were able to come after that. And so there are some challenges, but we overcome, as I said, like mostly bringing them together, traveling, scheduling, because most of the elected officials, it's difficult to schedule for 1 week to travel because India is too far. India is more than 10,000 miles, and it takes 24 to 26 hour flight. And those are some of the challenges we overcome.
Okay, so how do you define cultural competence, and what skills, knowledge, and experiences should students acquire?
As I said, it's a cultures are so many cultures. There are so many. I mean, if you look at 7 continents, each continent must have at least thousands of cultures. Cultural competency is the ability to understand, communicate with, and effectively interact with the people across cultures. Cultural competency encompasses being aware of our own worldview, developing positive attitude towards other cultures and cultural differences. Also gaining knowledge of different cultural practices, ability to interact effectively with the different people of different cultures, as I mentioned, including it can be, religion, ethnic identity, language, nationality, food, uh, ethnic wearing, means dresses and things like that. But what makes more comprises of some of these components are awareness of one's own cultural worldview, attitude towards different cultural differences, knowledge of different cultural practices and worldviews, and cross-cultural skills. Any culture, most of these have certain values, norms, traditions that affect how individual of a particular group perceive, think, interact, behave, and make judgments about their world. And learning about each culture takes time. It's not easy. Understanding about other cultures, just reading a book or reading a page of other cultures, it's very difficult unless you go visit to some friend's house or or I'm sure at your school you have more diversified friends, understanding the language they speak at home. Because many of the immigrants who come here, they have other than English, they have a mother tongue that they learn during childhood. So that's why the English second language, which is a second language learning, is influenced by the mother tongue with accent and all that. So understanding what they eat, how they eat, dressing during the festivals, like how we celebrate festivals like Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays. Each culture also celebrates their own holidays. So understanding that, maybe reading about those, developing knowledge and skills, and also participating in some of the activities, including sports. Different cultures have different sports. So those are the skills and knowledges that you enrich among your classmates.
I know you've kind of touched on this just a hair bit, but how do you foster a sense of community in a sea of divergent people?
As I said, globe is shrinking. Many people are traveling. When I came here in 1996, we hardly used to see any from India, people from India. Today, we have more than 15,000 people in central Indiana. When I came here, we had only one grocery store, very small grocery store for Indian people to go and shop. Today, we have more than 10. The diversity is increasing. We have more than, I think, 50 to 75 countries people live in our in central Indiana. Different cultures, they bring them here. So either through faith, there is a common amongst some people, either faith or food or sports or education or hobbies, photography, reading books, participating in the local activities, some of those things. Community, people who are living in our community, they want to belong to the community. And how do you foster? We welcome them. We also provide opportunities that among communities they can participate. Most of them love to go for sports. Kids go for swimming, learning, math, English, science, projects involves within the community. Schools. School is the best place where everybody has to come, because that's the only place all the children has to learn education. So there are a lot of things, and everybody who is coming here, they call this is their home. When they call them this as a home, they are belong to this community, and that provides stronger community, that provides a secure community and safer community. And you are welcoming them, you're understanding them. And a lot of times there are cross-cultural picnics where you bring your own food, you share some dish, you make different games like soccer, cricket, or football or basketball, things like that. When we share things, sharing the knowledge, participating in those activities makes people to belong to that community.
Okay, so it looks like we have time for one final question. And so we wanted to ask you, with all your accomplishments, what do you want your legacy in the world to be?
That's a good, interesting question. I never thought I would have a legacy here, but as I found Indiana India Business Council, as a founder, I would like to see that Indiana India bridge continue to be a strong bridge and make more wider with a few more lanes, and we get more traffic between Indiana and India for greater opportunities and greater prosperity. And we will able to have more exchange programs between Indiana and India for students, for youth, and for opportunities that they create between Indiana and India. And that work will continue to grow. That work uh, will prosper both places in creating job opportunities and also understanding the cultures. As I said, like we cannot even spell Indiana without starting with India. So that's what we would like to see and continue to grow those relationships.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Chinthala. Thank you to the Indiana Language Roadmap Project for their support, and thank you to the Indianapolis Sister Cities Teacher and Student Outreach Committee.
Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.